Welcome to another Building Bridges TV show. We are broadcasting from A9 TV in Istanbul with the cooperation of WTPN from the United States. Our aim of this program is to spread the message of love, peace, unity among nations, among religions, and among people. My name is Ece, and I'm with my friends Aylin, Ceylan, and Hüma.
And we have Roger Landry also on the line with us from WTPN, We the People Network America. Hello, Roger.
Hello, and how are you ladies today?
Hello.
We're fine, we're great.
How are you? Thank you very much.
I'm doing fine, and I'm really looking forward to this discussion.
So do we. So we have a very important guest today.
Yes.
So who's going to introduce us?
All right, I'm going to introduce Mr. Hubertus Hoffmann. He worked as an advisor in the European Parliament and in the US Senate in Defense and Foreign Affairs for many years. Before he worked as a journalist in the White House Press Corps, as an editor for ZDF, the largest TV station in Europe, and as managing director of large German media companies. Dr. Hoffmann was chairman of the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, Committee for Foreign Defense, European and Inner German Affairs. He supported the Mujahideen from 1985 to 1990 against the Russian invasion of Afghanistan, visiting them in the mountains in 1985 and writing the Afghanistan report for the European Parliament.
Yes, one of his main activities is the Human Code of Tolerance and Respect project, promoting universal rules for parents, educators, journalists, religious leaders and politicians on how to promote respect for other religions, races and ethnic minorities as important soft factors of peacemaking, including best practices from all over the world and the roots of respect and tolerance in the life of the Prophet. Excellent. Hello, Hubertus Hoffmann. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. My best wishes to Istanbul, one of my favorite cities.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're really happy to host you today. I want to go with the first question. And we know you are a media manager among your other titles. You have many titles. We just listened to some of them. So what do you think about the role of media in social engineering, Hubertus?
As we all are aware, we follow mainly the old saying, only bad news is good news for the media. And I think we have to be careful not to promote a self-fulfilling prophecy where we show the children. I have a 9-year-old daughter, the world 24/7, full of disasters, full of war, full of crime. It's a wrong perception coming out of the news, as we all know, and I think it's as well kind of boring to see again and pictures from floods in Russia right now, things like this. They all look alike, more or less. I think we have to balance. We have to show the world like it is. It's bad. It has problems, catastrophic events, and war, but also it has human touch stories which are positive. And I think this is very, very important to realize that we should show as journalists also human touch stories, positive stories, and of course we should as well not leave the media only for the very few radicals of less than 1% of the population of 7 billion people.
I so much agree, and one of the biggest points of discussion we have on this show repetitively is the influence that the media actually does have on societies. And it is, nowhere is it more blatant than what we see in the United States. What we hear about in the, I'm not sure if you're aware, but the origination of the Building Bridges project and this show was to help dispel some of the rumors and conditioning that we as American citizens constantly receive about our Muslim brothers and sisters. They are never portrayed in a positive light. It's not news, as you said, unless it is radical, unless it is something that makes a big splash. And this is 90% to 95% of what we receive from this part of the world. So Shows like this are intended to help dispel these misnomers, to help show people that there is a human side, a compassionate side, an intelligent side to every culture in this world. And if the mainstream media were to just listen to what you just said in this country, we could dispel a lot of these rumors. We could dispel a lot of this hate and conditioning very, very quickly. So again, thank you for being in this conversation, sir.
Hubertus, by the way, we have...
maybe let me add some what to do. I'm a businessman and investor, so basically I think we should ask the editorial staffs in television, radio, to discuss how to promote tolerance, respect, and to have a kind of code of conduct.
Yes.
Not just to satisfy the stereotypes, but as well to differentiate. And as I worked in Washington, D.C., in the White House press corps, for example, and in the Pentagon, I can tell you I'm quite shocked that only the stereotypes are there. And I think it's really a self-fulfilling prophecy that on one side the media is portraying all Islamic people as main terrorists, and on the other side the real, less than 0.1% of the real dangerous radicals love this. So both push each other.
Well, you would find if you, research was done in this country, and the findings actually shock a lot of us. There are more radicals under investigation or watch in this country than there are all Muslim radicals combined. But you never hear about that in the news. What you hear about is the radicalized Muslims. There are a lot of radicalized Americans, but again, this really hardly ever makes the news. So it is disproportionate, and yes, I do believe a code of conduct that they will all voluntarily agree to would be extremely beneficial to the populace to make sure we all understand reality and not just what some few wish us to believe.
Yes, and by the way, Hubertus, we have a great video feed right now of you. I'm happy.
Yes.
I want to add a recent experience of ours with WTPN, with We the People Network. Me and a friend of mine, we made a video talking about Islam, because you know I'm a Muslim, and I know why you're laughing, Roger, because but just let me finish this part. I'm a Muslim and I'm a religious Muslim, and we were talking about Islam, and the first reaction we got was, please you go ahead and you say it, Roger. What was the first reaction?
Are you kidding? They can't be Muslims. They can't be real Muslims. And this was a disproportionate amount of the first comments. Now, these ladies are intelligent enough and get their message across well enough that dissipated quickly. But that first reaction was enough to scream volumes.
I know for the ladies, I have just written for the new Fritz Kramer book some sentences, and I think you will like it. I just finished it half an hour ago. It's about woman and the prophet, which is a quite interesting thing. So let me read it.
Sure.
Did the prophet mistreat his wives or his 4 daughters like the Taliban do and radicals like? Never. He loved and respected his first wife, Khadija bin al-Khuwaylid.
Yes.
She was an emancipated businesswoman, so like you are, who hired 25-year-old young Mohammed. She was his boss. She proposed to marry him.
Yes.
She financed the small Muslim community as main sponsor, and she supported him in his way to God.
Yes.
And I think it shows you, we have in our team of World Security Network, Nadine Al-Bidair. Nadine is our editor in Saudi Arabia. Have a look in her YouTube video, which had been seen by 130,000 over the last months. She is speaking out about women in Saudi Arabia. And I think it shows you that the real Islam needs to be honored and rediscovered as well. And as I'm a Roman Catholic, when I give speeches in the Arab world, I always joke, why should I defend the Prophet? The Muslims should defend the Prophet versus the radicals, and the silent majority should be active.
Yes, and you know, very few people know this about Islam, and it's a really good message. We really liked it. And you know, for example, in Quran, Allah says, "Don't you look at skies and how I created them." And how do you look at skies? You have to use a telescope, and you have to know how to interpret that data. So you have to know enough about astronomy to interpret that data, or you have to you have to know about biology to appreciate how a flower or how just a piece of grass makes photosynthesis. Because you have to know the stages of photosynthesis, the Calvin cycle, everything. And so you have to be educated if you want to be a Muslim. Because if you're a Muslim, you have to follow all the rules in the Quran. And being educated is also one of them. Yes. But when you look at bigots, bigots create a stronger image in people's minds than real Muslims. So people tend to know Islam through bigots, and they don't know real Islam.
That's sensationalism. That's exactly what that is, and that's what sells products.
When we talk about the real Quran, they amazed, they shocked actually, because they're under the effects of the bigots and radicals in general. In general, all the people, the Muslims, Christians, and Jews, the other people also. When we say that Quran gives the highest value to the women, they get shocked. And when we say Islam is a religion of peace and love, they get shocked. But these are all in the Quran. This is the real Islam, but they don't know it. This is interesting. They are all under the effect of the bigots. And we are trying to, as you said, we are trying to change this image.
Yes, what bigots are telling throughout the whole world, only divorce from the Quran. They are not telling anything from the Quran. They are just telling from their superstitious minds. It is nothing, but it is not the truth, and we should educate people. It is our responsibility. We are real Muslims, and we are religious people, and we are educated people. We are businesswomen here, and people should know real Islam through us. And this is one of the main aims of our TV shows and our radio shows. And we are in contact with WTPN, with Roger, and we are doing so many great jobs, and we are reaching so many people, so that people can understand how a real Muslim woman should be like, and how real Muslim man should be like, and how children should be like, and how they should be treated to each other. So it is very important to understand the truth and to educate the people in the right way.
We are getting so many reactions from the bigots and radicals, of course. But we are also reaching many people who do not know Islam.
Ignorance is the biggest issue here.
Yes.
It is not that the Westerners who see the Muslims in a bad light are bad people.
No.
They are reacting to the information and the stimulus they are given. This is all they have to make their decisions on and to make their minds up on. But if we can, through programs like Building Bridges, help to remove the ignorance, then bigotry and hatred will evaporate. They can't last very long.
Yes, this is important, Roger, because we are trying to educate them too. We have compassion to the bigots and the radicals because they are also people who are conditioned by other people. So we have to show our love and compassion, and we need to educate them. This is one of the parts of our mission.
Because during the time of our Prophet, love prevailed through the community, and our Prophet loved all the Christians, all the Jews. He married Jews and Christians also. He dined with them, he spoke with them, he had conversations with them. So he had great love for all the people from other religions. He didn't give any different attitude to others. He loved them all. And bigots now today, they say if people from other religions are their enemies. They try to show it like that, but we never believe this, because we believe in the unity of different religions, because it is very, very important. We all believe in the same God, and we should all unite. There is a very important thing going on in the world, and it is irreligiousness, and it is very, very dangerous in the world. So we should unite regardless of our religions, regardless of our races, because there is only, as Roger always says, there is only human race.
Yes, one human
Yeah,
race.
One human race.
Add the quote. I think one of the most interesting quotes in the Holy Quran is 29/46. 29/46. It reads like this: "Do not contend with the people of the book except in the
Yes.
fairest way.
Yes.
Our God and your God is one." I think this
Yes.
is basically summarizing in 2 sentences, which is the core message.
Yes.
And as well, I always quote when I give speeches in the Muslim world, what happened when, and I had a meeting with the Salafists here in Germany about this, and I told them, you want to live like the Prophet lived, so you have to know what the Prophet did when he conquered Mecca in 630.
Yes.
Did he impose Sharia on all the people? Did he punish the people who wanted to kill him? No, actually,
No.
he left everything intact. He granted a pardon. And also, when he was riding around the Kaaba, he basically was promoting reconciliation and wanted to end this endless struggle as well. So any radical who wants to live like the Prophet has on one side to treat a woman very kindly, and has to promote reconciliation and peace as well.
Yes,
Yes, of
but
course.
when you invite the radicals or the bigots to Quran, they deny Quran also. They have something else in mind except the religion, Islam. There are
They have
also some
traditions.
yes, they have their own traditions, their own beliefs, so they live far from religion. There are also radicals among Christians and among Jews. So,
Yes.
but all 3 divine religions are against radicalism and against wars and against the bloodthirsty system. So we believe that over 95% of the world believes in peace. All the people who believe in these 3 divine religions believe in peace. That's why if we unite against radicalism, and if we can use methods by educating people, you know, some intellectual methods, then good morality can prevail the world.
These people say that they are Muslims, for example, and they are conservatives, but they are not preserving the values of Quran. They are not preserving the values of religion. They are preserving the values of their traditions. Their traditions they brought from the Bedouin culture before Islam, and they are trying to enliven that culture. And this has nothing to do with Islam. For example, if you're a Muslim, you cannot oppress women. You have to treat them just, and you have to protect them. And if you're a Muslim, you have to protect the people of the book, Christians and Jews. For example, remember the Ottoman Empire, when Jews were being slaughtered in Spain. They brought them from Spain to Istanbul, and they really looked after them quite good. They hosted them good. They gave them the best places in Istanbul. They gave them the best jobs. This is how a Muslim should act towards the people of the book. For example, right now we as an organization support the rights of Jews in the Holy Lands, because we also believe that they have a right to stay there. They just don't have a right to oppress other people there. But of course it's their land and they will stay there. And some Muslims or people who call themselves Muslims oppose us. But this is how a Muslim should act.
I would tend to agree with the biggest point that Huma made, and it's a beautiful point. And actually it's been mentioned several times. If you look at the core beliefs in the Torah, in the Quran, in the Bible, if you take a look at the basic premise of all of these religions, it is about tolerance, it is about love, it is about respect. At no point in the core belief of any of these 3 main religions will you find a God who is vengeful, a God who says you must go out and kill, you must hate your brother. So at this point, if we just get to the core belief of these religions, we all have a common point. We all have a point to start from.
Yes.
Roger, I agree, and I appreciate what you with A9 TV are doing to promote this. I think I never blame the radicals for what they do. We only have to blame ourselves, the silent majority. Everywhere we are too silent.
Yes.
This happens everywhere. We have to wake up to stand up. And on the other side, I think it's as well the right thing to exclude the radicals who promote a perversion of the Quran and are sinners versus the Quran and the Hadiths out of the Ummah. I think there must be a clear sign that these people are basically kicked out of the family of Islam because they are pure criminals, and they are as well people who offend the Prophet and the Quran. And this must be clearer from many people, including the politicians, religious leaders. It must come out strongly as a message. Whenever those people are active, they should be branded as non-believers and non-Muslims.
Also, I will tell you there is one thing, and I will pass this question on to these ladies. The one thing that's missing that could help all of this happen a whole lot quicker, the one thing missing in the Muslim world is a leader. And I leave that to you, ladies.
Of course.
This is one of the biggest.
You go ahead, Eileen.
No.
This is the biggest issue in the Muslim world, because everyone has a leader. Every community needs to have a leader to stay peaceful, to stay calm, to have good morality in it. So when you look at the Muslim world, it's been a century and there's still not a leader. We don't have a leader. And there's no leader in the Middle East. There's no leader in the Muslim world. There's no leader in the region. No leader country, no spiritual leader, no nothing. So this creates also bigotry, because we see teachers, sheikhs, and bigot teachers, like thousands of them. And they have small communities around them, like a few hundred, a few thousand people around them, but they don't teach Quran, they don't teach the moral values of Islam, they teach bigotry. And these people learn from them, and they become one of them. They breed new bigots into life. But if there was a leader, if there was a spiritual leader who only uses the moral values of Islam with peace, who uses love to communicate, then whatever he says would be the law. So nobody ever could keep going like this. Nobody ever could keep breeding more bigotry into the Islamic world, into the Middle East. So all these, for example, these people can say, you can just blow up yourself, suicide bombing, and they follow him. There are small communities like this. And these are bigots. These are not Muslims, because a true Muslim will know that suicide is a sin. But if there was a leader, and he said that, just like the Pope in Christians, if he said that suicide bombing is a grave sin, so nobody can do this, then it would stop in a few hours. Nobody could do it, because they have to follow him. So we really need a leader in the Muslim world. We need a just leader. We need a peaceful, a true Muslim leader in the Muslim world.
To unite all the Islamic countries and also non-Islamic countries as well, all the Christians, all the Jews, they will all feel compassion, and they will be loved, they will live in tranquility. It is very, very important, because as we look at the world as a whole now, the whole world is in conflict. There is sickness all around the world, and when governments are trying to solve the issues one by one, region by region, but it cannot be done like that, because if there is unity, they solve the problems partially. They cannot make a real solution without a unity. But if they make a unity, it will cure all the diseases. For example, we can say there are hundreds of diseases in the world going on now. And if they solve in one region, in Syria, for example, there is a very big conflict going on there. But if they solve it only there, it is going to be starting in another place and in another place. So there should be a unity and a spiritual leader who will serve with love, compassion. So it is very, very important. The main solution, we believe, that with a leader, spiritual leader, that will make a great unity all around the world.
And this will be a wise and intellectual leader, actually, who protects the rights of the people of the book, the Christians and Jews.
Please go ahead.
Yes, please.
As you know, I'm a German, and
Yes.
The German had all kind of experience with a leader. So we are very skeptical.
We couldn't hear the word.
On the concept of one leader. I think we see it in the European Union. I worked 5 years in the European Parliament.
Yes.
That it's very difficult as well. So basically to find one common sense. I think we should never wait for someone, but we are the leaders. We are the elite. The elite is maybe 1 million people all over the world, and we have to stand up. We should not wait for someone to lead, but we should wake up and stand up. And this is actually missing. In the Arab world, it's you have some great leaders. I know Prince Talal of Jordan, the uncle of the king of Jordan. I met. He is an excellent man with his Institute for Interreligious Dialogue in Amman. As well as Sheikh Mubarak Al Nahyan from United Arab Emirates. He's a higher education minister. He's doing a good job, but it's too few. We have 5,000 princes in Saudi Arabia. I know several of them. I never have heard from any of the princes that they defend actually the prophet and they do something for the prophet and for the real teaching. Nevertheless, it's their task. So I think one of the issues is this total materialistic focus on money making in Saudi Arabia, and also in all other countries, basically to steal the money from the people with corruption and things like this, instead of taking responsibilities for the people, like actually the Prophet did. And on the woman's side, I met Queen Rania in Aqaba. She is a perfect leader as well. I think we have to stand up everywhere and unite against hatred and against and promote our codes of tolerance. And I invite you to join our project in the internet codesoftolerance.com as well.
Hubertus, there is this very important thing you have to understand when we are talking about the leader, because we are not talking about sitting here all lazy, doing nothing and expecting someone to come up and do all the work. For example, we today had 5 hours of a live TV program, and we have other organizational works, 6 actually, yes. And here we are talking about a unity in the region to stop the wars and conflicts in the region. Of course we will work, and we have been working so hard for the last 25 years as an organization. But do you know what a leader in the region will solve? You're talking about princes spending people's money. If there was a leader, if there was a spiritual leader in the Muslim world, they couldn't do this. Because they couldn't explain this to the public. But right now they can explain, because they are sheikhs, they are leaders in their own region. But if there is one spokesperson, if there is one leader over all of them, he would stop everything, he would be just. And this would stop. And you're right, of course, materialism is the biggest problem in the world right now. Same applies to North African Arab countries and all the places, including Turkey, including Iran, including Syria, all Arab countries. But when we look at materialism, it's stemming from Darwinism. And we have to eradicate the ideology from the root. And how do we eradicate the ideology? Of course, we will unite, and we will start a united intellectual struggle against Darwinism and materialism.
And the leader we are talking about is, according to Quran, according to Islam, his name is Mehdi. According to Torah, his name is King Moshiach. According to Gospel, it is the man who is carrying the picture.
Faraklit.
Yes, Faraklit, and also we have his names, and he will change the world totally, and we are expecting him this time. This time he existed actually, and we are expecting him. But you are right. We need to prepare the world. We need to do something. That's why we are struggling. We are against materialism, Darwinism, and all the communist ideologies, and we are really very struggling against this. We need to make scientific effort to eradicate all these false ideologies. This is our mission, and really we work hard. We have many things to do, and you are very right. You mentioned about the silent majority. You are right. They are staying still, but we need to unite. Good people should unite and prepare the media, prepare the environment for the King Moshe, for the Mehdi. This is the time.
And also, having no leader is against the nature of the life, because all the countries have a leader, all the communities have a leader, all the unions in the world have leaders. Christianity has a leader, Jewish people have a leader. You know, there is no leader in the Islamic world. Mm-hmm. So we need a leader, but he won't be a dictator. This is very important. He will be a very wise and intellectual person, and he will respect the rights of the people of the book, because he will obey the rules of the Quran. So this is very important, to have a leader in this region and in the whole world.
So basically, from the definition of this leader I have heard over and over again, we're not talking about necessarily a political leader as we are talking about a spiritual and moral leader.
Yes, exactly.
He will unite.
Because there are a lot of countries out there, such as our guests have said, and other countries in the world, who would push back very, very hard against a political leader. But a spiritual and moral leader is something that I think we can all agree has a place in the Islamic world.
Yes, and he will unite people under the name with love. He will use love. People will love each other because Allah loves to love, God loves to love, God loves to be loved. So all the religion has sent on the basis of love. So Mehdi will make this world a love.
A place of love. He will turn it.
It's not like he will just command something and people do. People just like him so much, people will love him so much, and they won't want to disappoint him, so they will want to do what he wants.
And the system won't change. I mean, there will be democracy, the borders won't change, the countries will be the same. This will be
only to protect people from wars, from conflicts.
No, being united is much more easier than being separate from each other and being hostile to each other. Living like brothers and sisters is much more easier. But living so far away from each other, hating each other all the time, creating new conflicts to solve the conflicts, this is the hard part. Nobody likes conflicts. Nobody likes wars. Everybody hates war. It's a great calamity on people. Even the economic outcome of the war is enough to hate it. So actually it's very easy, and Satan makes it look difficult to people, but it's not difficult. People just have to want it, and when they want it, when they really want it, when it starts from roots, it will grow, and it will become a reality.
I have a question for our guest. I have been looking through your bio and some of the information on you, which I find a very interesting read. But something that catches my attention is the topic, networking a safer world. Could you explain a little bit more of this to us, sir? Because this is a very interesting concept.
Basically, it's our slogan, and as all slogan, it's in a nutshell. The safer world, basically, from our concept, is that we have 7 billion people now on the globe. We believe there is a kind of elite of maybe 1 million people who own the world, intellectual, religious, financial, and the 1 million doesn't take its responsibility. We are in a kind of orgy of materialism. It's about the super rich need a bigger airplane and a bigger boat, and the not so rich need their first house or a swimming pool. So we think that responsibility elite for a safer world first has to look for moral ground and values, which we actually all have agreed in 49 in the UN Charter in San Francisco, which basically is our base. So we are pluralistic. We think that a diverse world has different mentalities, different religions. So the most important aspect is respect and tolerance towards other religions, ethnic minorities, and races. And we focus on the soft factors of peacemaking. We know very well the costs and the limits of the hard factors of peacemaking, as we have 20 former generals on our advisory board. You see the list in worldsecuritynetwork.com. So we focus on soft factors. We think that we have to balance the hard and soft factors of peacemaking in a double strategy of peace and reconciliation. And we are active in different areas, and we invite everybody to join us. So we are open, we are not left or right, we are not warmongers or peace lovers. We are a colorful mixture from different areas and different ideas, with the solid fundament of the UN Charter, which is promoting tolerance and respect for others.
I really, again, I can relate to that so much, because this organization that's starting the Building Bridges project is WTPN, which stands for We the People Network. This is basically the American-based portion of the network, and we, as everybody knows, we have issues in this country right now that a lot of Americans are waking up to and pushing back against for the first time. This is a government of, for, and by we the people, and we have neglected that for too long. But what we see here is that an awakening is happening. And what we see here is that it's not only an American movement. We are seeing people waking up across the world. So a message like this coming from the type of organization that you have and promoting it from basically the top down is perfect, because our organization and this type of an organization is building that same message from the bottom up. And we're going to meet in the middle, and then we will all have peace.
Yes.
And you know, we as Harun Yahya organization also have very good connections with Sanhedrin Rabbinical Court in Israel. We have perfect connections with the leaders of the Freemasons and Templars in the world. We have very good connections with the Iran Mehdi Institute.
And Knesset in
yes,
Israel.
Knesset in the Israel. So we know that we can bring peace to this world through the opinion leaders and the spiritual leaders too. So we also have that part of the people in our connections. And of course, if we, just like Roger said, if we work together, we can really do this. And it's doable. I mean, it's possible. People just see it impossible, but they just sit at home. They do nothing. They just complain about the bad things going on, and they think it's impossible. But if they just start doing something, they will see that it is possible, because people want peace in general, and they are in very great majority. So we see that we started to see very good responses. We started to receive perfect messages. So
Yes.
We see that it is coming and it's possible.
Let me maybe just add on the Israel-Palestine issues. As you are aware, Germany has a historic responsibility for the state of Israel and for the Jewish population in Germany, Europe, and all over the world.
Yes.
As you are well aware, the submarines of the Germans, which are equipped with nuclear cruise missiles, are the backbone of the deterrence force. They have been financed mainly by the German government as a giveaway. I think it's now boat number 6 from Germany, from Kiel. And I know several people there as well. We had discussions many times what could be done in the Middle East. And we think that we need a double strategy for Israel as well of hawk and dove, Utzi and olive branch. We are very unconvinced that the existing more kind of bunker mentality will lead to something. And we think as well on the Palestine sides, we need a fresh new leadership. When I meet in the Arab world or in New York, Palestine leaders, they are young, very good professionals, and they are very good, and we need a kind of Obama kind of leader for the Palestinians as well, promoting a pro-UN, EU assigned Holy Land concept with reconciliation included. And we try to do our best as well to convince different groups in the Holy Land. And I'm a real fan of the Holy Land concept. And as we are in Europe, we had to learn to reconciliate with our arch enemies. For the Germans, it was the French number one and the Polish. And that worked out, and I think it can be done as well in this region.
Yes, sure. And we are also the greatest protector of the Holy Land concept because it is in the Quran. Israeli people should be there according to Quran. So we always, as Turkey, we always ready to protect Israeli people and also Palestinian people. But the problem in the area is the problem of Marxism and communism. So Palestine has a problem of this communist regime, and also Iran has this communist Marxist regime right now. Syria also, and some of the Arab world has the same problem here. So our problem is, and also Israel's problem is communism and the Marxist regimes right now. So we need to unite our forces against communist and Marxist regime, and we need to make a struggle, a scientific struggle together. This is very important. Turkey always protect all these countries. Turkey is always ready to protect all these countries. Government always saying that, although there are some harsh points, some harsh...
At some levels sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
Yes. But they can be overcome so easily.
Yes, it is so easy, and the important thing is the intellectual and scientific struggle against Marxist and communist ideologies, because our enemy, the greatest enemy, and Israel's greatest enemy is this. So we need to focus this danger here.
Yeah. Because just think that we solved the problem with Palestine and Israel. The conflict will never end, because as long as the Marxist ideology stays there, they will try to create a new conflict, because they can't breathe without conflict. They think conflict is the steering power of the society. So we have to first stop this ideology, and we have to eradicate from the world, because otherwise we will keep seeing conflict in the region. We will keep seeing wars. We will keep seeing bloodshed in the region. Yes. And there's no way to, we see that the area, this region is conservatives. So they will never be irreligious. The very foundation of Israel is religion. So we cannot tell them, don't follow the rules of your religion. And it's not a way out. Of course they will follow the rules of their religion, but they have to be more religious. For example, Muslims have to be more religious. If the Muslims in the region knew better about Quran, about real Islam, they would live peacefully with their Jewish brothers in the region. Mm-hmm. But they don't know that. Yes. So we have to teach them real Quran. We have to teach them real Islam. We have to make Jews better Jews. We have to make them more religious in their religion, so that they will not oppress their Muslim brothers in the region. We have to make Christians much more religious, so that they will follow their peaceful religion, and they will be peaceful in the region too.
In a couple of months also, we visited the politicians, the think tanks in United States, some senators, some congressmen in Washington, D.C., the directors of some think tanks in Washington, D.C., and also we invited some rabbis, some people from the government of Israel, and they all believe in peace, and they all see Turkey as a leader, that they think that Turkey should have a bigger role in the region and in the whole world to solve the problems.
I honestly believe that Turkey needs to have a bigger role in the region, just due to your secularism, just due to the fact that you live as such a peaceful society, just due to the fact that a lot of the radicalism that permeates the rest of the region is not affecting Turkey anywhere near that level. If even as a role model, Turkey is already influencing that area, but as a leader in the area, Turkey has so much to offer, and again, if just by the role that they play, just as a role model they set. And what would you think of this, sir?
I think that Turkey advanced a lot. It came to a point after reforms where it should take leaderships. I think the test right now is Syria. As we all are aware, there was a kind of get-together, almost appeasement policy for a while with Assad. After the latest, after the shoot-down of the airplane in the Mediterranean Sea, I think it came to the point that there should be a leadership. I praise the Free Syrian Parliament, which is meeting in Istanbul. I think this parliament should have a resolution on the future of Syria, promoting from all different kinds, including the Muslim Brotherhood elements, a mutual understanding based on the UN Charter. I think it's a very critical where Turkey could do a lot. That the rights of the Kurdish minority in Syria is protected, that the rights of the minorities, the Alawites, is protected as well, that there is, I would call it the example of Mecca 630, if the rebels would win, that there will be a general amnesty, maybe excluding Assad, that the rebels have to stay back with some of their activities and cruelties. I had been with the Mujahideen in a different situation like this in '85, when they tortured the Russian soldiers, basically peeling their skins off. And I had meetings with the Mujahideen leaders at that time in the training camps, telling them if they continue, there will be no support from the West anymore. And I was one of the very few people pushing with Zia-ul-Haq and others the deployment of Stinger and blowpipe anti-aircraft missiles. So basically, there must be a clear sign of sticking to human rights in this conflict, to the law of war as well. I think there can be done something. This should be very clear. I even would favor a model where Turkey gets a mandate of the European Union in this conflict. I think it's time now that we give different countries the support. And why should France negotiate, Germany, the EU, the US? I think, why don't we just have a steering committee and ask the very good foreign minister in Turkey to negotiate for Europe, for the United States, and for Japan, etc. I think that would be a good approach in a new foreign policy.
If we have to start with Syria, Syria is a part of Shanghai bloc. So Russia has the power over Syria, and Assad will only listen to Putin. He will not from now on listen to Erdogan. So we, Mr. Adnan Oktar said, asked Mr. Erdogan, and we asked Putin, we asked him to ask Putin to talk to Assad and convince him to leave the power there. So what we see today, I'm sure you also know the latest development about Russia. They stopped delivering weapons to Syria. And they say that they will not deliver anymore from now on. So this is a very good sign. This is one of the things we wanted, because we wanted sanctions against Syria. They cannot stand against sanctions too long. So it's in the destiny. They will be gone. We just want them to be gone without blood, without any conflicts, and we do not require any mandate over the region or anything. We just want democracy to be established there again.
Thank you so much. Let us all start to do what we can do in
Yes.
our countries.
Of course.
And it was such a pleasure talking to you. My best regards to Istanbul.
Thank
you
very
so much.
To you
Thank
too.
you. All the best for you, and take care, and bye-bye. And
Bye-bye.
Thank
continue
you very
what
much.
you
Thank you
do.
very much, sir.
Thank you very much
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining.
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So we had Hubertus Hoffmann in our show today. So it is the end of our Building Bridges TV program. Thank you, Roger from WTPN, and thank you, friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.